Welcome back to the BAM GPG. Today, we've got a loaded show for you. We're talking about today's updates from Titletown, the Bengals surprising trade for Joe Flacco, and what it all means heading into Sunday's Packers-Bengals matchup. Stick around. It's shaping up to be an exciting week in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It sure is, Bryson. So,
Yeah.
just a quick recap from yesterday. We brought to you in our episode Christian Watson returning to practice. So, as you know, the Packers officially designated Watson to return from the PUP list yesterday, and that opened up his 21-day window to make the 53-man roster. So, it's huge news for the Green Bay Packers. Even if he's not full game ready, right? He's probably going to be on a pitch count. It means progress for him and that Packers offense. The offense really missed his top end speed this season, and Watson's presence alone, it really stretches those defense. You see it when he's out on the field when he is healthy. I know that's a big win and if because he always seems to be hurt, but when he is, he's able to stretch that defense vertically. No question about it. Now, Green Bay also made a few smaller roster moves to trim some of the depth and keep some of the spots open for flexibility, especially along the defensive line with Devontae Wyatt being day-to-day there. So the big takeaway here is that the team's starting to get healthier after this bye week, and it comes at the right time, right? The bye week, you don't typically like to see it this early in the season. You like to see it in the latter part, but just by chance it came at the right time, right when the Packers needed it this year to get some rest and healthy.
What's his name? That Tom guy?
Zach Tom.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
He needs some time to be back. He needed some.
Oh, for sure. And it's going to be huge. So you get your starter back in Zach Tom, right, at right tackle. You're able to move Jordan Morgan into a position that kind of suits him a little bit better at guard, and you're just going to see a much more balanced offensive line than what we have. So some of the big things that we struggled with, Bryson, heading into the bye week, for me, what was highlighted the most, kind of that sore thumb that stuck out, was the special teams. So special teams, they've been a work in progress under Rich Bisaccia since he's gotten there. Back-to-back weeks with a blocked field goal. That's all it's been talked about with special teams, right? But LaFleur and Rich Bisaccia, they both said this week that technique and pad level corrections have been made to, kind of mitigate this going forward in the future. Holding my breath on that one. I hope that's the correction and it's not something schematic. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we move closer to that. So as you mentioned in the intro here, Bryson, the big news today for this matchup this weekend, the Bengals traded for veteran quarterback Joe Flacco from the Browns. I believe they got Flacco and a 6th-round pick in exchange for a 5th-round pick, I think was the official details of the trade. Now, look, Bryson, this is nothing but a desperation move for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's offense, it's been completely out of sync since losing Joe Burrow, and Jake Browning, he wasn't getting it done. I think he had 8 interceptions on the season.
In like what, 2 or 3 games?
Yeah, it wasn't good. Now, Joe Flacco, he is a veteran quarterback. He brings some experience, sure. But when you look at it, he's 40 years old. He's not mobile. And that arm, it really doesn't scare anyone anymore, Bryson, from Joe Flacco. And we've seen him once this year. The Packers' perspective, this sets up beautifully for Green Bay this weekend. You've got a veteran quarterback walking in to a new system midweek, learning a new playbook, and facing a defense that's fast, aggressive, and really has been improving year after year under Jeff Hafley. Now, Hafley's defense this year, they've been flying to the ball. Now he gets the game plan against a quarterback who basically is a statue in the pocket back there at his age. So I would fully expect Hafley to be bringing the heat this week. I expect Rashawn Gary.
And also with the Bengals defense, it's just a mess.
It is, yeah. So, again, I expect Hafley to bring the heat this weekend. Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, coming off the edge, that's going to be a nightmare for Joe Flacco stepping into that new system. Collapse the pocket, force him to throw off his back foot, and that defense is going to feast on Sunday. So let's keep an eye out on the secondary. Keyshawn Nixon, Xavier McKinney, they have a chance this week to make some plays on those late floaty throws that you see Flacco tend to put up under pressure. We saw it in Cleveland, didn't take a whole lot of advantage of it then, but this is the kind of matchup where Green Bay's defensive speed and Hafley's aggressive style, you could really completely overwhelm Cincinnati's short-term fix at quarterback and Joe Flacco. Now, from the Packers' mindset, LaFleur isn't the type to overlook anyone, right? We've seen Flacco again already this year in Cleveland, but if the Packers, if they come out focused this week, if the game, it's where they can control the tempo from start to finish. The Bengals, are scrambling throughout the game. The Packers are finally starting to get healthy, rested, and they're ready to go this week. So the Packers this week, Bryson, they opened up as big favorites, over 2 touchdowns. And honestly, it totally makes sense this week, right? Given who they're playing and what the situation is going on. So you look at some of the key matchups, the pass rush versus Joe Flacco. With Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons coming off the edge, Green Bay's front 7 should dominate. If they win on the early downs, that'll be key. You got to win first and second down to really let those guys eat on third down. Now, Jordan Love's rhythm, right? He looked a lot sharper before the bye week in Dallas. I know Dallas doesn't have the strongest defense, but regardless, he looked a lot sharper. If he's able to stay decisive, and the big question mark, if the offensive line can keep him clean, the Packers offense should absolutely roll this week. Now, the run game, I expect Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson to pound away early in this game. If they get the run game rolling, play action is going to open up everything downfield for these young wide receivers. And I hate to call Romeo Doubs young. He's been there a few years, but it's going to benefit them.
Though.
He is Mr. Consistent Romeo Doubs. So some of the takeaways here, the defensive thrives on turnovers, right? And against a quarterback who's barely had time to learn a brand new system in less than a week, that could be the difference early in this game. So just kind of wrap it up here, Bryson, just the chatter, the aura of Christian Watson returning to practice. I know he's probably not going to be playing in the game. It's a boost for Green Bay all around, right? And Joe Flacco's arrival, it gives the Bengals a familiar name, but not much of a threat for the Packers, right? And the Packers are in a perfect spot at home to handle business this weekend. So I'm going to take Green Bay in this game, Bryson. I'm going to go 34-10. I think the defense dominates. I think Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, they're able to collapse the edges. I think Jordan Love, he's going to play a clean game. They're going to keep him clean. Josh Jacobs, you'll probably punch in a couple touchdowns again this week. And Green Bay, they're going to take care of business, and they're going to move forward after this week with a lot more confidence. So, Bryson, what's your score prediction for this week?
Yeah, I'm actually not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it.
He's not going to jinx it, so we'll leave his at that. So, let us know what you think, Packer Nation. Does Flacco even make it through all 4 quarters? Maybe you see Browning in the game again. So drop your score predictions in the comments. Tell us who you think will be the MVP of the game for Green Bay on the offense or defensive side of the ball. And
I think it'll be Micah Parsons.
It very well could be, right? Absolutely. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, like some of these shorts here. And as always, thanks for turning into BAM GPG, Bryson. As always,
let's go, Pack, go.